You have just finished watching Dallas Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison giving his end of the season press conference. This is something that they do every season. It was scheduled to start here. It started about 1 p.m. this afternoon. And unsurprisingly, a lot of the questions from reporters in the room centered on the Luca trade. So if you are just joining us or you weren't able to catch the entire thing, we do want to recap a couple of major points for you, starting with a question from our sports director, Joe Trahan, who, kind of came out of the gate asking why this press conference was happening about a week after Harrison actually had kind of a round table with limited cameras, no really audio available in that meeting with reporters. He asked him, hey, why, are we meeting today a week after that meeting? And here's what he had to say.
Nico, Joe Trahan from WFAA. You said earlier you don't like to run from the media, but Nico, I am interested in your reasoning by having that roundtable discussion without any cameras or audio equipment, and then less than a week later having this meeting that we're in right now. What's your thought process behind doing it that way if you say you don't want to run from the media?
Yeah, no, it was a good question. It was a collective thought process. It was meant to be more of like a roundtable discussion. Clearly, it didn't have the goal that we intended on doing it, so that's why we're coming back here today. The goal was that I answered all the questions today. I could talk about the team as it currently is and then what we do going forward. But because it fell flat today, that I'm answering the same questions I answered last week because we didn't do a good enough job. The other part that we really wanted to show is the face of the leadership of the Mavericks going forward, which is Rick and I. And so those were the two goals.
Is part of the reason you're doing this today because you felt the fan base needed more and there wasn't an adequate response to why you made the deal? Is that why we're sitting here today?
No, it was, well, one, we do this every year. We do exit interviews. It's no different than what we've done in previous years. But because we haven't adequately answered the questions, we figured we would open it up as well right now.
And what you just heard there was, Harrison really focusing on wanting to move forward, really doubling down on his team, doubling down on the decisions that he's made, and really hoping to kind of look to even next season, talking about the draft, and also talking about, he did acknowledge that it was a tough season for the Mavs, but really attributed a lot of those difficulties to injuries. But of course, like I just said, one of the very first questions, most of the first questions coming out of the gate were questions about the Luca trade, which of course is unsurprising. And one of the questions that really stood out was whether or not he anticipated the level of outrage from the Mavs fan base about that trade. And here's what he said about that.
I did know that Luca was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level, but really the way we looked at it is, if you're putting a team on the floor that's Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Anthony Davis, and Lively, we feel that's a championship caliber team, and we would have been winning at a high level, and that would have quieted some of the outrage. And so unfortunately we weren't able to do that, so it just continued to, go on and on.
And he actually circled back on that comment when he was asked to clarify that later, saying, yeah, he did anticipate that there would be outrage, but he did not anticipate the level of outrage, and also doubled down on the fact that he believed that people would have been less angry. Fans would not have been so outraged had the team had a stronger season to finish. But of course, it's no secret at all that through this process, fans at the games, we've seen some of this on social media and some conflict here, calling for him to be fired, calling for him to lose his job. And one reporter in the room asked him why he should not be fired.
We're here, Isaac from Lockdown Mavs. When when Luca comes back to town, the Lakers game's happening, and you're standing there, and there's thousands of people chanting for you to be fired. That's an experience that none of us, no one's chanting for for us to lose our jobs. Why shouldn't you be fired?
Well, one, I think I've done a really good job here, and I don't think I can be judged by the injuries this year. You have to judge from totality, from beginning to end. And so I think I have a really good working relationship with Patrick. I think you add in Rick, the leadership that we have is really elite, and you'll see next year when our team comes back, we're going to be competing for a championship.
Now, one of the things that you did hear him say just a little bit ago was a championship caliber team. And one of the reporters actually asked if he believes that Luca is a championship caliber player. And he really, kind of wanted to get around that question, saying that he felt that it was unfair to speak about Luca as he is not a member of the team now. He was also asked to respond to Luca's interview with ESPN's Malika Andrews last Friday, in which he said, expressed some disappointment about the way he's been spoken about by Nico Harrison. And Harrison said that he felt that was mutual. He also, said he was disappointed in this as well. One thing, of course, that he really wanted to focus on was, of course, moving forward, looking at the strengths of the team, he says next year they're going to be playing for a championship. And so we do have, I believe, a clip of him kind of speaking about the strategy, preparing for next season. He mentioned the draft and what the focus of the Mavs is moving forward.
The draft this year is extremely deep, and we're excited to play the role that we are. We'll see where we go after the draft lottery, but we know we're going to get a really good player. And then we'll also use free agency to kind of shore up the rest of the roster. With the support of the fans, we are committed to coming back next year stronger than ever. Every decision we make this year will be through the lens of competing to win, and our goal is to bring a championship back to Dallas.
So you see a message of optimism there from Mavs general manager Nico Harrison. He had a press conference to end the season this afternoon. It lasted about 30 minutes. Those were just some of the highlights. If you missed any of it, you should go watch the entire thing. It's on WFA Plus and our website. He talked about a number of things: the decision to trade Luca, some of the factors that went into that, and of course the strategy moving forward. Make sure you check out that full interview. Thanks for joining us on WFA Plus.